They say life doesn't give a second chance, but there's a place whose location is unknown and never heard about in the news that only appears to those who are near a fateful crossroads. That place is called the Library of Alternative Lives. You are only allowed to enter it once in your life. When you enter, you are greeted by a silent woman with a face that looks eerily like yours, who points you to shelves of records. Each record has a title. Your life if you hadn't married so-and-so. Your life if you had studied literature instead of medicine. Your life if you had told the truth that day. Your life if you had been 1 minute late. Then there is a record that doesn't appear on the shelf. It has no title, no number, but it is there. Record number 0. The record that shouldn't be read because it doesn't reveal an alternative life, but rather the very origin of the library's existence. Yasser lived a quiet life, devoid of surprises, deep happiness, or resounding sadness. An employee at a medium-sized company, he spent most of his time in front of his computer. He would return in the evening to a small apartment, eat his lunch, read an old book, and go to sleep. But one cold autumn night, while he was hesitating over a decision regarding a surprise travel offer, he received a message. Not electronic nor paper, but a letter waiting for him on the kitchen table in his own handwriting. Yasser, your moment has come. The library gate is open. One step, and you will discover everything you have never experienced. Signed, you, from a path not taken. Beside the letter was a small brass key and a small piece of paper on which was written, "You will find the door near the red chair in the public park at exactly 3:03 a.m. And although he had never been known for his adventurous nature, he left. Yasser entered a dark but warm building. The smell of old paper filled the space. Huge, endless shelves, records arranged in various colors. A woman wearing a gray scarf with dark eyes approached him silently. "Hello, Yasser." He hesitated. "How? Do you know my name?" She smiled weakly. "I don't know it. You brought it with you. Choose one record and read it. But remember, you can't come back here again." He began to wander around. He found one marked, "If you had accepted the job offer in Sweden." Another, "If you hadn't answered that call." A third, "If you had saved your father that night." He wanted to choose, but something in a dark corner drew him in. An empty shelf, but on it was a small wooden box. He opened the box and found inside a black, untitled record, with a number engraved in rough handwriting, 0. He picked it up slowly and heard the woman's voice whisper, "That record can't be read." Then why is it there? Because someone tried to change the library itself. Yasser sat in the corner and opened register number 0. On the first page, the narrative was different. It wasn't an alternative story for his life, but rather a story about the Library of Alternative Lives itself. According to the register, the library never existed. It was an idea born in the mind of one person, a man named Ayad, centuries ago. Ayad was experiencing great pain after losing his wife in a tragic accident, and he wished he had lived another life. In a rare moment, he wrote a fictional book about a library that would give you a record of your life if you chose another option. But what he didn't know was that the book had become real. That reality had blended with fantasy, and the library had emerged in the mind of everyone who read the idea with faith. Here, the register began to talk about the breaking point. If someone reads Register 0, they see the mechanism of the library. They see the lies. They see that everything in it is a psychological projection, not reality. Whoever opens the register becomes responsible for it. On the last page, there was a blank space. Then, suddenly, a sentence appeared in a new font. Yasser, you chose to see. The library is now yours, but you will never leave. Yasser tried to escape. He ran toward the door he'd entered through, but it disappeared. This time, the gray woman looked at him with Yasser's own eyes. She said, "Everyone chooses to see part of the truth, except for those who open Register 0. These are no longer human. They become the guardians of the shelves." Time seemed to have changed. Years passed, but Yasser didn't age. He knew all visitors by name before they entered. He helped them choose their one register, but no one saw him leave the hall. Every now and then, a rebellious visitor would pass by. His eye would flicker toward the corner, and Yasser would warn him, "That register is unreadable." But they wouldn't listen, just as he wouldn't. One day, a young girl came to the library. She looked like Yasser in his prime. She wandered among the shelves, then approached the wooden box. Yasser had sealed it with a gold seal, but the girl looked directly at him and asked, "Are you the keeper?" He replied, "I was, and now I'm not so sure." She said, "The record called me. I'm not looking for an alternative life, but for the very reason for existence." Yasser was silent for a long time, then gave her the key. He said, "If you read it, the library will be yours. If you tear it up, it will be finished." The girl looked at the record, then into Yasser's eyes, and she smiled. But the writer doesn't tell us what she did, because some endings must remain in the imagination.